What is the best car in Wreckfest? No opinions, no bias, just data. What's the best car? I don't care if a car gets hit once and it's out, or if it can hit someone a million times and keep going. I want to go fast, so what's the fastest car? If you've ever played the game before, you probably know what it is. And that car is... the Harvester! What a surprise, right? No. Anyways, going on to D tier, there's only 2 vehicles. At rank number 47, we've got the school bus. It's got a pretty low top speed, slow acceleration, poor turning, and I'm pretty sure it's the biggest vehicle in the game, primarily because of its length. The only thing this has going for it is the potential to piss people off online, just blocking an intersection, you know. At number 46, we've got the sofa car, which is the complete opposite of the school bus in a bad way. The sofa car is extremely lightweight, has twitchy turning, and a strangely high top speed. What kills the rank of this is the nightmarishly bad handling. Along with this, it can't go over any jumps or just rough terrain because of how terrible the suspension is. If you could tame the sofa car's speed, I could see it maybe reaching C tier, but you'd have to fight for that, and even then, it's not worth it. Number 45 is the Battle Bus. It's pretty similar to the school bus, but just a bit shorter, turns better, and is overall faster. While this car is one of the slowest, it is one of the best wrecker vehicles for online races. If you want to go fast, this isn't the car. Well, if you want to go to decent speed and wreck 10 people along the way, this is the one. Number 44, we've got the Super Van, which is technically worse than the Battle Bus, but if there's nobody else on the track and you don't flip over and die, it should be faster. Based solely on speed, this is faster than the Battle Bus, but between the small size and the somewhat decent handling, this is just barely faster than the Battle Bus. Number 43. Just because the double-decker is 2 cars in one doesn't mean it's twice as good as any other car, okay? This is one of the fastest cars I tested, but the turning is worse than the freaking Super Van. On some tracks I could see this doing well, but the moment it comes to a turn, you're done. This car can't handle a turn if its life depended on it. On a track that's fairly flat and has a lot of straights, this car is actually pretty decent, but turns, you have to slow down so much, and if you get bumped just the wrong way, you're done. Number 42. Would you believe me if I said the Doom Rig is worse than the Big Rig? This feels like it was meant only to exist for the tournament challenges, going the wrong way around a track and ramming into people. Unfortunately, I don't even think this is strong enough to go backwards in normal gameplay and survive long enough to cause a real problem.
2. This is my own private domicile and I will not be harassed! Bitch!
This is where cars start to be fun. I unironically enjoyed driving this because it just feels right for some reason. If it was a bit faster, I could see this being B tier, but at the moment, it's gotta stay in the middle of C. The Harvester is practically identical to the Harvester, but has a top speed more than double. The Harvester has a top speed of over 110, while the Harvester has a top speed of just 52. Just with that, you get much better lap times. Still not great, still a massive turd, but at least it's the fastest of the big hunks of junk. Both can turn on a dime and both have rear steering, but both are also a brick on wheels. Number 39. I really like the Mud Digger as a wrecker. It has a decent speed, short wheelbase, and it's pretty dang tough. Even with that said, a decent speed on a brick doesn't make up for the difficulties of driving such a heavy vehicle. Turning isn't the worst, but it does lose speed through corners. I would recommend this car for a derby because you can get out of the way or put someone in their place without losing yourself. They were pretty good with the naming of this car. It's practically a bug on the track. Everything about this car is pretty below average. Nothing stands out as amazing, but the steering is ass. Number 37. The limo has no reason for being as not terrible as it is. It turns fine, accelerates fine, tough as a rock. The main complaint with this car is the length. It's maybe a bit shorter than the school bus, but it's still frickin' long, which means you get pushed around easily, but also means you could maybe push someone else around. Number 36 is the Big Rig. Pretty big, kinda fast, pushes through the corners just fine, It's still nothing crazy. It's kinda lacking in acceleration, I would say. Looking back at the Doom Rig, it's insane to think this was free and the Doom Rig actually cost something. Number 35 is the last car in C tier. And it's kind of surprising that it did better than all of the cars before it, because this is the lawnmower, the best of the joke cars. Not because it's insane or anything, but because it's amazingly average. The first car that actually flies through corners. Pro tip number 47, turn the mower off before sticking your hand under the deck. Completely unrelated. In number 34, we've got the Nexus RX, which is the best front-wheel drive car in the game, which isn't saying much because front-wheel drive cars inherently kind of suck. They don't push through the corners, only pull because they're front-wheel drive. I feel like most A and S tier cars can drift through the corners and maintain speed, but that's just not going to happen with front-wheel drive. Other than that, it's pretty good. Not the fastest though. Number 33. Some people say that the hotshot is amazing, but they're probably joking. Just like how front-wheel drives can't be A or S tier, heavy cars can't be that high ranking without being fast as well. The hotshot isn't super fast, and because of that it falls a bit short. Number 32. While I love the Rocket, it's the epitome of average. Any car that ranks below the Rocket has something wrong, and anything above is doing something different. If you're an amazing driver, you could make this work, but in a group of people that all know what they're doing, you're probably not going to win. Number 31. Think of the Rocket. Now think of the Rocket if it were a bit heavier and a bit faster. Now you've got the Star Beast. This is the least memorable car in the entire game, at least in my opinion. Number 30. Think of the Rocket again. Now think of the Rocket if it were a brick on wheels. Now you've got the Hammerhead. This is often considered to be one of the better vehicles by some people, but I've never met those people and don't trust them. Number 29. The Gatecrasher has no reason for ranking this high. Typically I consider it to be equivalent to the Mud Digger because of how strong it is, but the only real difference between that and this is the height, length, and acceleration. The Gatecrasher takes what the Mud Digger does and improves on it. Number 28. This placement is very well known if you've played this game. The Rammer is good. The Rammer RS? The Rammer RS is just poorly optimized. Bad with corners and bad with acceleration. The speed is fine and it's maybe a bit more planted, but that doesn't outweigh the bad. I can't think of a single situation where the Rammer is worse than the Rammer RS. Number 27. I like the Panther RS. There, I said it. It's very hard to describe this car because it's another average vehicle. Just like the Star Beast, it's a rocket with more speed, more weight, but the weight isn't much higher as far as I'm aware. This gets blown out of the water by the Hunter Panther, which we won't be seeing for a while for good reason. Number 26. There is a community tier list that ranks the Road Cutter as the third best car in the game. This car is very good, but just like the others before it, cornering isn't great. This is good over jumps, good through winding roads, good on straight lines. But when it comes to those crazy turns, this loses a chunk of time. Definitely one of the better bashers. The Roadslayer GT has the exact same problems as the Rammer RS. Planted, but gives up too much to be an improvement. Number 24. Oh look, the Rammer! The problem with B tier is that every car is so similar that it's often hard to find the differences. Think of the Star Beast. It's that, but it handles better. Number 23. The El Matador is the best truck in the game. If it weren't for the weight, this would be top of A tier in my opinion. This absolutely rocks. If the Rammer is a stock racing car, the El Matador is the stock racing truck. Number 22. For a disclaimer, this was using the Tournament 709 setup. Extremely fast, but is way too floaty in my opinion, and it feels like you're driving on ice sometimes. While the normal setup doesn't have this issue, it's significantly slower and would probably rank here or lower. If you can find a way to handle this, it's actually really good, but I think this requires way too much effort out of any car to get it to drive normally at its fastest. The Killer Bee is a very good symbol for the effects of weight on performance. This car isn't very fast, but handles well and weighs next to nothing. Because of that, you can gain time in the corners, but might lose some in the straights. The low top speed is what keeps this car from breaking into A tier. I feel like this one's maybe a bit controversial because people really like this car. Everything about this car is amazing, but the weight, as always, ruins everything. Because of this, you should use this as a banger. A tier was organized in a very specific way. Between all 3 races I did, these cars were consistently top performing. If you want to go fast and win races, this is where you should probably start to look. Number 19. Half of A tier is lightweight cars with good acceleration or average weight cars with high speed. The TriStar is a lightweight car with good acceleration, but pretty rough in terms of speed. Number 18. Typically, the Dominator and Warwagon are ranked right next to each other. In terms of lap times, the average of the Dominator was only 0.079 seconds faster, less than a tenth of a second. What carries the Dominator from B to A is its slightly higher speed and better turning. Other than that, they're extremely similar. And also, this is a good point for me to say, this tier list is not based off of, like, oh, this position is, like, its actual rank. Like, because it's an A tier, that doesn't necessarily mean it's that much better than a car in the top of B tier. It's ranked based off of lap times, and the tiers are only in place to break things up and make it a little bit easier to understand. Number 17. The Gremlin is the last car that relies almost entirely on handling for its rank. Speed is pretty mediocre, with a top speed of 110, but it has what I consider to be the best handling in the game. I really like driving this car. It's basically a rally car without the speed. Similar to the TriStar, but I'm able to get this to go a little bit faster. Number 16. The Boomer is the Gremlin if it was fast. With a top speed of 123 and the handling of a rally car, this is just a little bit better. The only thing that keeps this from going higher is, I think, the acceleration. Number 15. Believe it or not, the Road Slayer also slays the dirt, if not better than the road. Fairly planted, maintains speed through corners, and has minimal body roll to its low stance. Number 14. The Speedbird GT is nearly identical to the Speedbird. All of the next 7 cars actually are pretty close, having an average lap time within 0.2 seconds of each other. Acceleration and corner speed vary slightly, but differences even out and make for very similar outcomes. Number 13. The Starbeast SS is wicked. Sliding this thing through corners and bombing down straights is this thing's bread and butter, but just like the Road Slayer, rough terrain and jumps present issues. Number 12. Anybody that has ever unlocked the Hot Bomb in the history of the universe absolutely hates it. No, despises it. Not because the car is slow, but because it is the most expensive car in the entire game, at the cost of 500,000 tournament frame credits. This is an absolute ripoff. You can buy the Rocket RX, Hammerhead RS, Super Venom, Eagle R, and Hunter Panther for less than the cost of the Hot Bomb. While the Hot Bomb is the 3rd fastest car in the game with a top speed of 140, the weight means you'll have some adequate braking to go along with your high speed. Along with low grip, you've got a burnout machine in your hands, not a race car. Number 11. The Eagle R is good, but seems to have something wrong. I don't know what is wrong with it, but there's something holding it back. It's fairly fast, but just not fast enough. Number 10. The Venom is amazing, considering it's free. Overall, nothing holds this car back. The only reason this isn't higher is because other cars rise above. Number 9. The Speed Demon was my favorite car. Was. I used this car very early in Wreckfest's life, so the tournament vehicles weren't much of an option yet. This is a very balanced car, but like many speed-oriented cars, this is just too stiff for some jumps or rough terrain. I'd say this is faster than the Venom, but might be a bit worse off jumps, so they're pretty much even. Number 8. The Speedbird is the Speed Demon, but better with jumps and corners. Maybe a bit slower on a straight, but still slightly better. Number 7. The Hunter Panther is in a weird position. It's fast, but is the last car severely affected by its weight. From what I can tell, this car has never held a record. With how bad weight is on performance, this never had a chance. Number 6. The Killer BS, as far as I'm aware, has been used to set a few world records in certain tracks. This car is insane in every aspect except for top speed and maybe jumps. On a smooth track without much for a straight, this is a beast. Figure 8 tracks have always been where I use this car. Number 5. I'm gonna say this now, based on community input that I had on this tier list, a lot of people were mad about the placement of Super Venom because it's at the top of A tier and didn't necessarily break into S tier, and that kind of pissed people off. And it's not because this car is bad, it's because this car is only fast, and that's all it has going for it. Yes, this car holds some pretty crazy world records, based entirely on where these cars rank. The Super Venom technically would rank a lot higher. It's just not a good all-around car. There's certain off-road tracks where this thing underperforms, and there's certain straight line tracks where this thing is a beast. In S tier, number 4, the Boomer RS is the nimble car for taking on technical tracks. This car pulls like nobody's business through corners and never wants to slow down. Even with that said, reaching and maintaining the high speeds is pretty hard due to a lack of power. It has a very good top speed with 137, but has the least power of the S tier cars. If you're on an off-road track with rolling hills and winding paths, this might be the car for you. Number 3. The Sunrise Super is another extremely nimble car, but focuses a bit more on high speeds and power rather than turning. On tracks with more of a focus on cornering, the Boomer RS is better, but on a track with more of a focus on speed, I think the Sunrise Super is the way to go. Number 2. Even though the Rocket RX isn't a record holder like the Super Venom or Hammerhead RS, this is the ultimate all-around go-to car in my opinion. It's very good at everything. It has amazing acceleration, is the best for drifting, maybe tied with the Super Venom, and has a low enough weight to stay pretty nimble. This might be the most controversial ranking, but the single use case of the Super Venom as a missile isn't as valuable as the overall amazing, but not the best, status of the Rocket RX. You can use the Rocket RX on every track, but you shouldn't use the Super Venom, Boomer RS, or Sunrise Super on every track. If it weren't for the fact that the Hammerhead RS is perfect under the right conditions and driver, this car would be number 1. And then, of course, number 1 is the only car left, the Hammerhead RS. The best car in the game according to most tier lists, most world records, and even my own recorded lap times. While recording footage for this video, I actually set a new personal record on Midwest Motocenter of right around 39 seconds flat. It was pretty close. My previous best was a low 40-second time, but on my second lap using the Hammerhead RS, I got a low 39-second time. For reference, the world record time is a middle 37, so I'm less than 2 seconds off world record pace. On a rally type track like this one, this car is amazing. However, this car does have one big issue, and that is understeer. Because of this, tracks with crazy high speed turns might be an issue. From experience, any speed below 60, this car turns fine. But if you're turning a corner going 80, 90, 100 plus, you're not going to make the turn. You're going to make your way right into the wall. While I would recommend you just drift around the corner, this can't really get back up to speed if you do that. With a stiff suspension setup and traction control, this should be turning the fastest laps. Alright, that is the end of the tier list. I know this tier list isn't perfect, but it's as close as I could get to a non-biased ranking. If you enjoyed, please consider subscribing. If you want me to cover the DLC cars too, comment down below. From what I know, there's a very specific DLC car that should take one of the top 3 positions if I do DLC. If you want a concise, final decision for what cars to use, I'd recommend the Road Slayer for any average driver. It's not the best, but it's an easy car to drive, being very noob-friendly, and is actually fairly high ranking for those hot laps. If you're confident in your abilities and know how to properly set up a car, the Rocket RX is an amazing car to learn and master. Just throw around the track. If you're looking to skip the racing and maybe run somebody down, the Mud Digger is my personal choice. It's not fast and the turning is a bit rough, but once you get things figured out, you can both survive and thrive in races. I've personally gotten first consistently using this car in aggressive online banger races. There are cars that could absolutely beat this car in the speed department, but you can just run them off the road and keep on moving. Thank you for watching, and as always, see you later.